Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete process of building this Amazon sales rating and sentiment dashboard in Power BI. This video focuses on DAX measures, calculated columns, KPIs, visuals, and dashboard design. I already have a separate video on data cleaning, so here I will jump straight into creating the calculations and visuals that will power the dashboard. By the end of this video, you will understand how every number and visuals on this dashboard is built. I started with a total items measure. This measure counts the total number of product records in the dataset. I'm using count rows because I want to know how many product entries are available after applying filters. Now I'm going to create the total discount value measure. Instead of using discounted price directly, I'm going to calculate discount value using actual price multiplied by the discount percentage. I used the SumX formula so that Power BI evaluates this calculation row by row, then adds everything together. This gives me the true total value of discounts applied across all products and keeps the calculation accurate when slicers are applied. From a business perspective, this KPI answers questions like how much value is being given away through discounts. It helps stakeholders understand the scale of discounts being applied and supports decisions around pricing, strategy, promotion, and profitability. So now I'm going to create the total rating count measure. This sums the rating count column across all products. It shows how many customers rating exist in total and updates them with slicer. After imputing my formula, I'm going to press enter, then wait for it to be added as a new measure. So next, I'm going to create the revenue impact column. This column is a custom matrix designed to show how much each product discount influences customer engagement. It combines the discount percentage with the rating count. By having this as a calculated column, I can use it in charts or measures to quickly see which product benefits most from discounts in terms of engagement. This matrix is useful for highlighting products where a higher discount correlates with higher customer activity, and it will help in terms of pricing and promotional strategies. Next, I'll be creating the average discount percentage measure. This measure calculates the typical discount level applied across all products. It helps us to understand how much, on average, products are discounted in the dataset. And now I'm going to create the average rating measure. This measure calculates the typical customer rating across all products. Because this is a measure rather than a column, it is fully dynamic. As I interact with slicers, the average rating recalculates instantly, reflecting only the products currently selected. This makes the matrix highly interactive and ensures the dashboard provides accurate insights in real time. And finally, I'll be creating the average discounted price measure. This measure calculates the typical price customers actually pay after discounts across all the products in the dataset. It gives a clear view of pricing trends and helps analyze how discounts affect overall selling price. And this helps to provide real-time insights for decision making. Now I'm moving on to creating slicers, which are essentials for making this dashboard interactive. Slicers act as filters that allow users to explore the data from different angles and see how the KPIs and visuals change in real time. First, I'll start by adding a slicer for product name. This lets me select one or multiple products and instantly see how all the KPIs and charts respond. And it is also useful when you want to compare two or three products together and also to analyze performance of a specific product. Next, I'm going to add the actual price slicer because actual price is numeric. I'm going to change the slicer type to a range slider. This allows users to filter products based on a minimum and maximum price. For example, I can filter products priced between 10 and 50 or focus only on premium price products above 100, right? This slicer is very powerful because it helps to analyze product performance by price segments and how discounts vary across different price. Next is the discount percentage slicer. This slicer allows users to analyze products based on how heavily they are discounted. Okay. For example, when you are selecting a discount above 30%, it instantly updates all visuals. So this slicer is useful for evaluating discount strategies, comparing performance between low and high discount products, and understanding how discounts affect rating and sentiment. Next, I'm going to create a slicer for rating. Ratings are critical because they reflect customer satisfaction, right? So I'm going to use a range slider here so that users can focus on highly rated products. Yes, or they can also isolate low rated products for further analysis. For example, selecting rating above 4 shows only top performing products. Or let's say if you want to instantly update KPIs like average rating and related charts, this also works. This rating slicer can answer questions like, do highly rated products receive more discounts, or are low rated products priced differently? Now I'm going to add the rating count slicer. Rating counts represents customer engagement, like how many people are actually reviewing the products, which is very important, right? So I'm going to use a range slider also for this, because it will help us focus on products with high engagements or analyze products with a very few review. Okay, this slicer is useful because a high rating with very few review may not be reliable, and also products with many review provide stronger insights. And finally, on slicer is the sentiment score slicer. This slicer allows us to filter products based on customer sentiment, which are positive, neutral, or negative. This is extremely useful when analyzing customer emotions, review tone, and overall brand perception. For example, selecting positive sentiments instantly updates all KPIs and charts. This helps identify products customers genuinely like. It also works well with rating and discount slicers, allowing deeper insight into how sentiment aligns with pricing and discounts. At this point, I have already positioned all my slicer on the left hand panel, as you can see. But what I'm doing now is to fine tune the layout to make sure everything looks clean and well organized, right? So I'm going to start making small size adjustments to each slicer so they can fit neatly within the panel. I ensure the widths are consistent and I slightly adjusted the height so none of them can look cramped or oversized. And the next thing I did was to focus on spacing and alignment. Okay, I moved the slicer up and down to create equal spacing between them, which helps the layout to feel balanced and easy to scan. After doing all this, I had to double check to make sure that all slicer titles are fully visible, the slider controls are easy to interact with, and the text and values are not cut off. If any slicer feels too dominant, I'll reduce its size slightly so that it doesn't overpower the others. So what I did was that I adjusted them. I kept usability in mind. Once all the slicers are added, I moved on to formatting. Good formatting improves readability and professionalism. Yes. So I'm going to use a consistent font size and a font family. I'm going to apply a uniform color theme that matches the dashboard, right? But before I settle with one color, I'm going to try different colors. But don't worry, I'm going to end up using a particular color. Going to also remove unnecessary borders, adjust padding and spacing for clean alignment. Okay. Then one another thing I made sure I did was that I ensured that all slicer header are clear and readable. Sliders are easy to interact with. Yes. The slicer are aligned neatly on the left side of the dashboard. This is going to create a clean layout and prevent visual clutter. Instead of leaving the default field names, I edited them and I also increase the font size of the slicer titles so that they are easy to read at a glance. This helps users immediately understand what slicer does. I also made the title text bold. Bold titles create a clear visual hierarchy and separate the slicer name from the values inside the slicer, right? Then I slightly adjusted the title alignment to keep everything consistent across all slicers. After formatting the titles, I move on to the slicer values and text. I increase the font size of the slicer values so that users don't have to strain their eyes. This is especially important for dashboards that may be viewed on smaller screens. I also make sure the font style is consistent across all slicer. Consistency helps the dashboard feel clean and intentional. For range sliders, I checked that the numeric values are clearly visible. The slider handles are easy to grab and move. Then, if any slicer text looks too crowded, I slightly adjusted the height or padding so everything feels balanced. Next, I focused on borders and outlines. By default, Power BI adds borders to slicer, but in most cases, these borders are not necessary and can make the dashboard look cluttered. So for each slicer, I go into the formatting options and turn off the borders. Removing borders makes the dashboard look cleaner, helps the slicer blend naturally into the panel, and also it keeps attentions focused on the data, not the boxes. Another thing I did was to check the background set for each slicer. If a background is not needed, I turn it off or reduce its transparency. This prevents the slicer from feeling too heavy visually. When backgrounds are used, I keep them very subtle so they don't distract us from the KPIs and charts. I continuously step back and review the overall look to make sure no slicer stands out too much. All slicer feel visually balanced and the left panel remains clean and organized. Once I finish formatting one slicer, I apply the same formatting style to the rest. This includes same title font size, same bold styling, same border and background setting. When all slicers follow the same formatting rules, the dashboard feels professional and easy to navigate. I also double check that titles are not cut off, text is readable, slider moves smoothly. Don't forget that good formatting improves usability and ensures users can interact with the dashboard confidently. If you want to achieve a good, neat, and responsive slicer, you need to avoid too many slicers. Only include what adds value to your slicer. Group slicer logically, and also place slicers where users expect them. And also, another thing I tried to avoid was mixing categorical and numeric data in the wrong slicer type, overcrowding the dashboard, using inconsistent formatting. With this slicer fully set up, the dashboard is now interactive, user friendly, and analytical. At this point, the slicers are complete and they form the foundation of how users interact with dashboard. With the slicers fully formatted, the left panel now looks professional, organized, and ready to support the rest of the analysis. Everything now responds dynamically based on user selections. This final adjustment step is very important because a well-aligned slicer panel makes the dashboard more professional and easy to use. Now that I'm satisfied, the slicers have formed a clean, structured filter panel that supports the dashboard without distracting from the KPIs and visuals.